Okay, the UN. Some love it, some hate it. My chance to get opinionated came about a month ago at the climate talks in Denmark. We've all read the headlines. After years of planning, weeks of negotiations, and at least 24 hours of high-level scrambling, the end result was a 3-page document that doesn't take us anywhere close to where the science says we need to be. When the news broke, the streets of Copenhagen were filled with thousands of young activists who couldn't believe that once again, their ambitions for the world they're about to inherit were postponed by people who will be dead when they get there. Well, to those young activists, I'd like to offer some humble advice. If the UN climate negotiations taught me anything, it's that life is a much less structured process than we're led to believe as children. We're told there are rules, we're told there are institutions, and we're told there are people in charge. But ultimately, all of us here on Earth are really just a complicated extended family, making the best decisions we can with limited information, limited mental capacities, and limited time. And when you're dealing with something as hard to understand as an invisible gas floating above the clouds, it's not realistic to assume that some piece of paper is all that stands between us and destruction. Here's the tough lesson of Copenhagen. If you, the young people of planet Earth, are disappointed by how slowly things are moving, there's no time to indulge in acceptance. The climate debate you want to have is already taking place, but it's not happening in Scandinavia. It's happening on your city council, it's happening at your state capital, and it's happening in the countless offices of non-governmental organizations that in many parts of the world are popping up far more quickly than coal-fired power plants. Someday, sadly, painfully, we all have to grow up. And as we do, you yourself will gain a level of power and influence that probably seems unimaginable right now as you're standing out in the cold. When your turn comes, I encourage you to remember what it felt like to be in Copenhagen. Remember the confusion, remember the powerlessness, and most importantly, remember the key moment when you considered throwing up your hands in frustration, but because you are an adult, you realize there's still work to do, and blaming somebody else is a waste of time.